Hello, YouTubers. I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Gear. And, well, I have a story to tell you. Recently, a friend of mine and his buddy came over and they challenged me. That's right. They challenged me to a head-cutting duel. I was hesitant at first. However, so my friend and his buddy came in and they set up their gear, which was this 4x12 and this amp head, big amp head. I think it was a Carvin, as I recall. I don't know. And so he started shredding, right, with this distortion. And so then I played a few chords, and then he shredded some more, started using his whammy bar, going and well, it got kind of serious because he took his jacket off, okay? And that definitely worried me. And then he kept on shredding. It was unbelievable. At that moment, he thought he had beaten me, for sure. However, well, you know, what I did, I didn't have any distortion, all right? But I started playing these clean arpeggios, right? One after another. And it was then that I thought, man, maybe I've beaten him at last. Because he put his head down, after trying the arpeggios, he put his head down, slammed his guitar on the floor, started crying, and then walked out, okay? So right then I knew I had beaten him, right? So I was thinking, well, I'm just going to jam a little bit, you know. So as the guy was walking away, mad, I guess, and before I started jamming, I saw some guy in the corner. I don't know, he was tearing up a piece of paper. However, on his way out, he did something just terrible that I'm not sure I can forgive him for. So he was so mad at losing that on his way out, look what he did. He kicked my orange Crush 12 guitar amp, and look, do you see this? See that? How it's right here? Right? There's a big space now because he kicked it in. Look. See that? My God. Yeah, he busted the amp with his foot. He kicked it in because he's a sore loser. That's just sad. Okay. Of course I'm lying. Alright, here's the real deal. Of course I was describing the head-cutting duel from the movie Crossroads, where Ralph Macchio takes care of Steve Vai, who thought he was sweet, until Ralph Macchio whipped out the arpeggios, right? And by the way, it's so convincing that to this day, Steve Vai has to always mention. By the way, you know I played both parts, Ralph Macchio's and his own part in the movie. Still though, most people recognize Ralph Macchio as the master guitarist. Okay, anyway, so here's what really happened to this amp. It works fine, it works great. But this baffle, right, was pushed in. And this is because I bought factory seconds, you know. And they had to have known this, that the amp was this way. But they didn't give a damn. They sent it to me anyway. Can you believe that? Well, I'm a big fan of orange speakers and cabinets and things. And I often use my little PPC 108, right? I thought, man, that is just the coolest thing. Now this is just a speaker cabinet, so it needs a power amp to it. And then, well, as I was looking around, I noticed that Orange also makes a tiny combo amp, right? And it's the Orange Crush 12, right? And I mean, this thing, here it is, the Orange Crush 12. Now notice it's a little bit bigger than the PPC 108 speaker cabinet, but this includes the power amp, the guitar amp section. It's all analog, 3-band EQ, 1 channel, has an overdrive as well. 6-inch speaker. And you're thinking to yourself, man, what is that about? 6-inch speaker? Man, that's puny. Right? Let me put this back. And so, I mean, you know, it's 12 watts. Right? Compare that to my Harley Benton power amp pedal, which I think is 50 watts, something like that. Much more wattage. But here you've got 12 watts, right? And new. The price of these is $109. That's new. Well, I couldn't resist that. I just had to try it, right? So I ordered 2 B stocks, right, which are basically returns, really. And they've arrived, and, well, I was going to do an unboxing, but my camera battery ran out, of course. But anyway, we can see it here. Remember, don't try this at home, only trained professionals should attempt. Okay, so I've received 2 boxes here, and so we're going to have an unboxing, I guess, and see what's in there. Okay, so here we go. By the way, please don't try this at home. Only trained professionals should attempt. Okay. Okay, the nice thing is I didn't have to sign for these. UPS said between 1 and 3, and sure enough, they came right about 2 o'clock. Well, I'll be darned, there's another box in here. So let me get this box opened up. Actually, let's get this box out of here. Okay, so that was the shortest unboxing ever. Right? And, well, one of them fared okay. Right? But the other, the facing of the amp was pushed in, and the little braces came off too, so it took a big jolt. However, I unscrewed it, I pushed the baffle back out, and I'm going to have to get some wood glue and put those braces back in. Not that big a deal. But I was worried about the sound of it, would it affect the sound? And luckily, that's not the case. Okay, just to show you, so far I've removed this little side panel, or back panel, sorry. It's like half the amp. Let me show you. There it is. You can see the little speaker, it's tiny by the way. So I pushed in the baffle here. Now sure enough, there's a piece of wood right here that's holding the baffle in. But on this side it broke off or something, I don't know, there's no baffle. And along the bottom there's no baffle. So what I'm thinking is, glue a piece on the side here, and I glue a piece on the bottom here. And that should hold it in enough. Right? So if my friend comes back and tries to kick it in, you won't be able to. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I wonder what happened. Maybe it could possibly have been done in shipping. I don't know. But I didn't feel it was worth returning, because the amp works great and sounds great, so. And I think I can fix that just with this wood glue. Okay, so I've glued in the pieces of wood. They were about this big. I'll show them to you. And what I did is I glued them in with this wood glue from the dollar store and let it sit overnight. It was late anyway, so so let's take a look and see what happened. I don't know if you can see that or not. Well, I don't know how to show you that. Anyway, there's a piece on the bottom here that I glued in. Man, it feels solid as can be. I'm stunned. Wow. And put one on the side. Wow, that's not going anywhere either. Holy smokes. And then one up at the top. Now let's see. I guess that's the key, is that will this baffle stay? Oh man, that is as solid as can be. Wow. Awesome. Right, and pushing it, trying to push it in, and it's just not doing anything. How cool is that? Wow. Okay, so let's close it up here. I'm very pleased. Okay, and okay, I've got the back panel in. And we'll just screw these. There's 4 screws back here. So we're going to screw them in. Pretty cool. I'm quite surprised, though, honestly, that the wood glue is so strong. And the way I did it is I put glue on the piece itself, but also where it's going to go in the amp. And I'm assuming the two together make a bond, right, that's strong. And sure enough, that did the trick. Okay. So again, I don't know if it was damaged in shipping or if it was just sent to me that way. Don't forget, these were returns, you know. Okay. All right. Turned out better than I thought it would. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. This one can go down a little more. And there we go. Look at that. That's just really solid. Wow. And there you go. So that's really nice. Little orange crush 12. Right? Oh yeah, that's super solid. Man, I'm impressed. I'll tell you what, I think it's even better than those little tiny brad nails or whatever they were using. It almost looked like staples. I mean, sad. But this is, yeah, the baffle's not going anywhere here. Very nice. Wow. Alright, I guess the last thing to do is to try it. Make sure I didn't screw something up in doing this, sound-wise, you know. Alright, so let me get that hooked up. Okay. Well, I wondered if it would sound any different than the little PPC 108. And sure enough, it really does. Now here I'm going to play through the little orange Crush 12s. Okay, as they are. And take a listen to them. I'll tell you, if that's all I had, I'd be kind of disappointed, honestly. It's got the mid-range and the highs, but no lows. And it sounds puny! Puny! Small. And kind of boxy, too, and kind of mid-rangey. Right? So I'd be kind of disappointed, honestly. However, keep in mind, with my setup, remember I use a bass amp. And man, when you add a bass amp, it changes everything. Here, try this. Fender Rumble 25, right, which is a 25 watt bass amp, right? I think it's got an 8-inch speaker or something like that. But take a listen to what it does to this Crush 12. just can't even believe it. I mean, that is just unbelievable, really. I mean, it turns these little Orange Crush 12s into a really decent, great sounding, man, guitar sound, right? It sounds like I'm playing through a huge amp to hear, inside the room. I don't know how well it translates with just the little camera on the camera audio. But I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. And now I'm beyond thrilled at the sound of it, and to think that, these were, new $100, basically. I mean, that's incredible. And I had my suspicions that it would be this way because of my experience with the PPC 108. A little tiny cabinet, right? Which is weird because it has a bigger speaker than these, but smaller cabinet. So it shows you cabinet size makes a difference. But man, when you add the bass, I'm just, wow, stunned. And so I'm definitely sold on these, and not only is it a great sound, but I mean, these are, pretty light. I mean, let's put it this way. The UPS guy, when he brought them, right, he carried both at once. Both boxes, so that tells you something. And with the handles, really, it's a no-brainer. It's very, very light. But what I like most is definitely the price. $100? Are you kidding me? And it sounds like a much more expensive amp when you've got the bass going. I mean, take a listen to this. It's just crazy. I mean, just the sound, that's the thing that is a surprise to me, honestly. For whatever reason, well, it sounds really crappy without the bass amp, because you're getting all those mid-ranges and treble, but no low end, right? But man, you add that bass amp, takes care of everything. And that's what I was really surprised about, was the actual sound quality, right? And it's not tube, I mean, it's solid state. But the sound is just great. I mean, I just love that sound. Wow. Big surprise. And I thought it'd be more like the PPC 108, which is great, it's fine. But it doesn't quite have the, I don't know what to say, the sparkle maybe of the Orange Crush 12. Now take away the bass amp and it'd be sad. But add the bass amp, and it's unbelievable, the sound. You know, I could certainly gig with it easily. You know, hard to believe. I mean, basically, you bring a pedal, whatever it is, whether it's the Nux MG300 or the Plethora X5, and then you bring a bass amp and the 2 guitar amps, and optionally, if you wanted to, the crossovers. You don't necessarily have to use them, but... And the sound quality is just amazing. Wow, that's a big surprise. $100 new. And I looked up used and things, and basically by the time you pay everything, you know, tax or shipping or whatever, it's basically $100. So you might as well get a new one. Yeah, in fact, honestly, I might get 2 more of these. I mean, I'm just stunned by the sound quality. Wow. You know, I mean, I've just added reverb, you know, it's coming from the Plethora X5, and that's it. Expecting it to be this good, honestly. Oh, and by the way, I have all the settings on the 2 orange amps, including the EQ and everything, pretty much at 5, right in the middle. So I could crank up the bass, the middle, the treble, the volume and the gain. And interestingly, remember this is a single channel amp, but it has an overdrive as well. And let's say I turn that up to 5. Right. Okay, I'll do that to here too. This is with the overdrive at 5. This is the overdrive at 5. Much louder. really had to, you could use the overdrive. In fact, let's try that. Just add a hint of overdrive. And man, it boosts the volume. I would say at the expense of clarity, but not that much. But it does boost the volume. So really it boosts the volume basically at low levels and doesn't really distort all that much, even though it's the distortion, almost kind of like a boost kind of thing. You'd never guess that the sound is coming out of these little tiny orange crushed 12s. I'm blown away, really. Wow. I mean, for the price and the size, and I've seen the speaker, and man, it's tiny. Little 6-inch speaker. But the sound quality is awesome. It has the orange voice of the world speaker. I'm truly impressed. So let me turn down the overdrive here. We don't need it. There we go. And I'll show you the difference in sound here. Just has that clarity, man. Man, I don't know what you could ask for more. That sounds very much like the scene in the movie Christine, where the kid sees the car, right? and he says the line, which I think is the funniest line. He says, "Man, no matter what you're asking for, it's not enough." Well, here, this is the same kind of thing, because I'm truly blown away by the sound. super impressed. Yet it's Orange's tiniest amp. Okay, so to say I'm impressed is quite something. I'll tell you a story about Orange amps. They make an amp called the CR60, right? Which is a 60 watt solid state amp that is supposed to be as close to tubes as possible, right? And I bought 2 of them. The problem was it was as expensive as a tube amp, right? So I ended up returning them. However, this makes me think, man, I wonder if I shouldn't get a used, CR60, maybe for not quite as much as a new price. Because, man, I'm just blown away by the sound. Wow. And I love the idea that they're like $100, right? And with Sweetwater Easy Pay, I mean, you're talking about maybe $35 a month. So 3 payments of $35. 2-year warranty, free shipping. And let us not forget the Sweetwater complimentary candy. Just saying. Man, I must be a Sweetwater fanboy. Right? I'm totally blown away by these little Orange amps, really. Now, again, if I didn't have the bass amp, I'd be kind of disappointed. Right? But somehow, maybe just by luck or what, but the little Orange cabinets have everything as far as the mids and the highs, right? Which with my setup is exactly what you want to hear out of the guitar cabinets, and then the bass handles the low end. Very interesting. Very interesting. Honestly, it makes me rethink my $1,400 Mezzo Boogie heads. I might sell those. Great, just sound-wise. Honestly, it sounds better with it glued in, the baffle glued in, than it was before. It sounds better to me. remember, these are the little Crush 12s, right? $100 amplifier, if you can believe it. They almost have this acoustic quality to them, the sound overall. It really is the orange sound, to my ears anyway. So that's just awesome. Man, the sound is just superb. Wow. nice. So that worked. I mean, that was great. Gluing in those little braces with that wood glue. Wow. I mean, that's impressive to me. That is so sturdy, you know. Superb, you know. Yeah, I remember when I opened the box, I was kind of disappointed. I mean, I saw it right away. And I was like, oh, man. What a bummer, you know. But this takes care of it. Honestly, I think it improved the sound, believe it or not, of this little amp, you know. Granted, it's solid state and all, but it's that orange sound, you know, that I don't get from other amps. Big fan of orange amps. And I love the idea that these are $100, you know, for the Orange Crush 12. And they're plenty loud, really. You know, now granted, as I mentioned, I use a bass amp as well, which takes care of the low end, right? So I'm not asking the Orange Crush 12 to take care of the low end, you know, just the mids and the highs. And it does that beautifully, whereas the Fender Rumble bass amp, it takes care of the lows. And as a result, you get this huge sound out of these little tiny amps. Very cool. Alright. Very good. I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye.